Is it corruption, or is it just obsolete technology? Reports are surfacing that the expensive anti-drone defense system purchased by the TPLF from Eastern Europe is completely ineffective against modern aerial threats. We are examining the military blunder that has TPLF supporters and observers questioning where the money actually went.
The government is reporting that TPLF has opened fire in the Wag Hemra area. Wag Hemra zone districts have claimed that TPLF, in collaboration with militant groups, has initiated attacks. It is being reported that TPLF is preparing militarily. Allegations are being made that they have purchased an anti-drone defense system while enforcing mandatory military recruitment. This information, released by a journalist who was previously a TPLF supporter, has surprised many. On the other hand, there are accusations that TPLF may start a war during the rainy season. TPLF repeatedly states that they are forced to engage in self-defense because the federal government is imposing blockades and suppression within the Tigray region. Information is also widely circulating that Debretsion Gebremichael, who was recently re-elected as the regional president, has been appointed as the supreme commander of the Tigray combat forces. It is recalled that the TPLF group, having dissolved the interim government and established its own administration, recently approved an emergency proclamation to be implemented in the region. This draft law mandates military duty and designates the regional president as the supreme commander of the regional combat forces. In effect, this law elevates Debretsion beyond his role as president to the supreme commander of the region's fighting force.
Meanwhile, the situation in Abigel has drawn significant attention. It is reported that after a clash involving heavy weapons between local militia and insurgents broke out in Abigel district on April 12, 2018 EC, the ADET forces fully regained control of the district, which they had previously partially controlled. Allegations have been made that they were assisted by TPLF. Residents and zone administrators indicated to the BBC that ADET forces were involved in coordination with TPLF militants in this battle, which reportedly lasted all day. ADET's media and communication head, Mr. Mulugeta Kass, denied fighting in coordination with TPLF forces. He was heard saying, "The conflict erupted when they attempted to abduct our leaders. We were pushed into the conflict." Residents of the district told the BBC that ADET militants along with TPLF forces captured the Tsarjib district as well as another area 2 weeks ago. A district resident stated that on Ginbot 18, around 1 p.m, ADET and Tigray forces entered in coordination and a clash involving heavy weapons began in a place called Azria.
However, the so-called anti-drone system, for which approximately $400 million was spent, is reportedly ineffective. The fact that this expensive drone jamming technology does not work has drawn much attention. Supporters of TPLF are accusing leaders of corruption, noting that the equipment is outdated. Journalist Dawit Kebede, who reports on Tigrayan affairs, shared information that the drone jamming technology purchased by high-ranking TPLF officials through brokers from Eastern European countries has failed. Although it was claimed that the technology could disrupt communication between drones and their operators by jamming radio frequencies and GPS signals with high-intensity waves, it failed in practice. Assembly work had been ongoing for several months at the Northern Air Command in the Tigray region, but the testing was unsuccessful. Military experts indicate that modern drones currently produced have advanced anti-jamming defenses and use CRP, directional antennas, to bypass jamming signals. Journalist Dawit stated that the equipment purchased by TPLF leaders was outdated. It is recalled that a drone attack recently occurred in the Tigray region. Some sources close to the government indicated that about 12 vehicles were damaged in the attack. The strike reportedly targeted TPLF political and military leaders, specifically affecting leaders of the Tplf'S Army 11 and Maiche Army 35. TPLF in a statement announced that even personnel on duty were targeted.
The Ethiopian Air Force's weaponry is currently considered to be among the most modern in terms of unmanned aerial vehicles, drones. Among the drones held by the Air Force are the Turkish Bayraktar TB2.
These Turkish drones can fly at an altitude of up to 12.2 kilometers for reconnaissance, and it is known that most surface-to-air missiles cannot target them. They can carry laser-guided bombs and missiles weighing between 6.5 and 22 kilograms. Remarkably, many of these drones, from the Chinese Wing Lung to the Turkish Bayraktar Akinci and others, can stay in the air for over 24 hours, giving them high-end 24-hour surveillance capabilities. Journalist Dawit Kebede explained that because Tplf'S drone jamming purchase was a corruption scheme involving funds collected from the diaspora, innocent citizens are dying. At a time when new drums of war are being beaten in the Tigray region, the youth, the primary victims of the war, are rejecting political calls and leaving the region in large numbers, as reported by German radio. This mass exodus of youth serves as a testament to the political division, sense of hopelessness, and the widening gap between the leadership and the actual needs of the people. Following the recent drone attack in the Shire area and the mandatory military recruitment occurring outside the regional capital, Mekelle, it is reported that youth are fleeing to the center of the country, especially Addis Ababa, at any cost. This decision is not just a simple act of fear, but is based on strong moral and political arguments, with many saying they do not want to work with the federal government and do not see a valid reason for another war. The youth are clearly demonstrating that they prioritize learning, working, and changing their lives over being killed in yet another destructive war.
Political analysts closely monitoring the situation explain that after the Pretoria peace agreement, power struggles within Tigrayan politics have left the community in despair. While regional political forces are creating an atmosphere of war to maintain their own political survival, the youth are unwilling to pay the price for this political gamble. It is reported that youth are even pooling resources to buy flight tickets to leave the Tigray region. This reveals the deep divide between the leaders and the led. It indicates that the era where Tigrayan politicians and military commanders could use the youth as political pawns and fuel for war is rapidly coming to an end. Although the war is being justified as necessary for the survival of the people, the fact that the backbone of the region, the youth, is choosing workplaces over weapons demonstrates that this new trend of war lacks public support and moral legitimacy. The conflict between TPLF and the federal government is escalating day by day, and the Tigrayan region is facing a budget deficit. The Tigray Interim Administration wrote a letter to the Ministry of Finance last April detailing the extent of the cut in federal subsidies. The BBC reported that according to the letter, of the 17.1 billion birr that should have reached the region since October, only about 8.5 billion birr was received. BBC's repeated efforts to get comments from the Ministry of Finance regarding the budget sent to the region were unsuccessful. It is remembered that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, during his appearance before the House of People's Representatives last October, accused the federal budget allocated to the Tigray region of being used for militants rather than development.
Currently, there is high tension between TPLF and the federal government. TPLF is airing a documentary in Amharic on television to bring the North Ethiopian community closer. Another accusation from the federal government is that TPLF has formed alliances with various groups. For instance, that SIMDO meeting held in Sudan has deeply angered the federal government. The discussion held in Port Sudan in May under the motto SIMDO is being mentioned. This SIMDO group is described by many as international in scope. It brought together numerous opposition political figures, including Andargacho Tigray, who was previously a close aide to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed but was criticized by his administration. Participants representing the Tigray, Amhara, Oromia, Ogaden, Gambela, Benishangul Gumuz and Somali regions were reportedly present. The organizers stated that the forum was a people-to-people initiative aimed at ensuring peaceful coexistence and strengthening ties among the societies of Ethiopia, Eritrea and Sudan.
On the other hand, Field Marshal Birhanu Jula was heard commenting on the SIMDO group. He explained that Ethiopia's challenges are caused not only by foreign actors but also by internal collaborators. Connecting past political events, including the loss of the country's access to the sea and the secession of Eritrea, he argued that internal divisions create opportunities for foreign interference. He was heard saying that there are many internal Bandas traitors who have attacked their own country and opened doors for their enemies. Connecting this historical perspective to the current reality, he stated that today's challenges are a reflection of past events. He spoke about SIMDO, saying the traitors of that time have only changed their faces but are still the same. May peace be upon our land. Take care. In summary, the Tplf'S multi-million-dollar defense purchase has failed, exposing both strategic military weaknesses and internal corruption. As the youth continue to abandon the region, the growing gap between the leadership's war-focused agenda and the people's desire for peace has never been more evident. Thank you for watching. If you found this update valuable, please subscribe, share, and leave a comment to support our work. Stay tuned to Daily Ethio News for continued, professional reporting.